And good Tuesday morning. We have just 1 minute now past 10 o'clock. We're at 73 degrees currently at KRIM Studios in Payson. Good Tuesday morning to you. Randy Roberson with you, and in the studio with me for today's Community Spotlight, we have Erleen Tilton with us. And as you know, she's been in here before. We always talk about the secrets of healthy, happy people, and got some interesting information for you today relative to detox. And first of all, Erleen, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
It's always good to be here.
And good to have you in. Now, you know, one of the things that we want to talk about today is why and how to do a detox. And, you know, we often hear the word rather, detox, and probably there are many different listeners out there that have done some type of detox at some point or on occasion, while others don't understand why detox is important and how you do it effectively. And that's what we're going to try and drill down into today. So why is it important that we do regular or routine detox?
I think that many of us, we buy a car, we buy a motor or unit of some type,
right,
and we want to take such good care of this. And we follow the instructions, you know, like if you drive, after driving, 500 miles or something, you know, get the oil changed or filters changed,
right,
or air filters.
Move oil and filter.
That's right.
Right.
And we're so consistent on that. And yet, do we take the same precautions when it comes to our bodies? Our bodies need maintained too. I mean, look at the air conditioning filter. I always like to liken this to our bodies. I mean, it gets to the point where it starts wheezing, the breathing is heavy, and you can hear it whistling. You know that the filter needs changed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't change that filter, what's going to happen? It's going to eventually bog down the motor. And they've said that if you will spend that $1 or $2 on that air conditioning filter and change it more frequently throughout the year, it will actually increase the life of your unit. And we've got to think about that for our bodies.
So same thing with our body.
Same thing. If we would change that filter 4 times a year, just like our body, maybe do a cleanse 4 times a year, a good thorough cleanse, I mean, it would make all the difference in the world in how our body runs efficiently.
So how does your body accumulate these toxins?
Okay, so first of all, there's 3 ways that we accumulate toxins. Number 1 is what goes in this mouth, right, every single day. I mean, what we drink is super, super important, because you can either drink pure water that's cleansing, or you're drinking all the other things. We're going to talk about water in just a little bit. But you stop and think about almost everything else. Everybody drinks every day. They're polar opposites of water, because water is cleansing if it's good water. And all of these others are full of chemicals and fillers and colors and stimulants of all kinds. I mean, all the sport drinks, soft drinks,
right,
even juice, coffee, tea, all of these, they're full of other things. They're not cleansing. They're not alkalizing. In fact, they're acid forming. They're just very opposite. So foods that we take in every day, super, super important. And even like supplements and pharmaceuticals, those can be full of toxins too. So really what goes into our mouths every single day can be full of toxins.
Wow.
So,
go ahead.
Secondly, is what comes in contact with your skin.
Oh, there you go.
So people don't realize how much, in fact, they said that women can put up to 50 different products or come in contact with 50 different products with their skin every day.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? But it's all the skin care, the body care, the hair care, the nail care, cleaning products galore, sunscreens, all of those things.
So even cleaning products that you're using around the house can be a problem.
Absolutely, because many of them are very toxic and you're absorbing them through your skin.
So what are some of the adverse effects that come in with this toxicity?
Well, let's talk about the third thing first. So the third thing is the air you breathe. So stop and think about what's in the air. There's air pollution.
Sure.
There's a lot of aerosols. Again, cleaning products, candles. There's so many things that are toxic. And you have to really make sure that whatever you're smelling, I mean, paints, think of all the things that we smell in today's world. Cigarette smoke, there's a lot that we smell. So.
Makes sense. All right, so, and your body keeps accumulating all of this, so,
Yeah.
I mean, and what ends up happening?
So we end up having a lot of adverse effects. People talk about brain fog. That's literal. Your brain can't function when you are full of toxins. You lack energy, you lack sleep, you get irritable, you can't think straight, you can't focus. Children have trouble with learning. They have trouble with behavior, just as adults do. So it really affects us. It can affect us emotionally, physically, and mentally. When our bodies polluted, our cells and our organs are polluted with toxins, it affects everything. And I don't think we realize that as much as we should.
So, I mean, and you've been making the analogy of our body, you know, basically the idea of that analogy of replacing the air conditioning filter periodically. So a clogged filtration system can affect you physically, mentally, and I guess probably emotionally as well.
Emotionally as well. Absolutely.
So where is that filter? You just pull it out? Or?
Well, that's the thing that's different about all these other filters. We can pull them out and change them.
Right.
Our body has a very unique filtration system, and they're separated in two groups. There's the primary pathways and then the secondary pathways. I get excited about talking about this because if you understand this one thing on the primary and secondary pathways, it can be life-changing for you. So first of all, our primary pathways are our liver, our colon, and our kidneys. So the liver is a powerhouse organ. It's what kind of brings in the nutrients and it kind of filtrates them out. So it kind of, you know, all the good nutrients, it's putting it back into our bloodstream for our use. So it's kind of the storehouse for there. But it also says this liquid isn't needed, sends it to the kidneys. This fiber and bulk isn't needed, so it sends it down through the colon. So that's our primary pathways of elimination. This is what our natural processes are.
Right.
So our secondary pathways, and this is where it should make sense to a lot of people. Our secondary pathways are primarily our lungs and our skin, but also our blood and our lymph. So stop and think about how many people have respiratory problems and skin problems.
Right.
That really actually those are our secondary pathways. So what does that tell you about your primary pathways?
They got to be taking a hit too then, huh?
Well, they're not functioning properly,
Right.
And they're overloaded. And so if your primary pathways are overloaded, it's actually going to send it to your secondary pathways. And this is where if you've got respiratory problems and you've got skin issues, so many people have skin issues, then you know that your primary pathways aren't working right. And this is where you know not only do you need a really good detox, you really need to focus on cleansing those pathways because you need both. You need a whole body detox to cleanse those primary and secondary pathways.
Well, now early on you talked about the regular detox and also periodic detox. I mean, define that a little bit more.
Okay, so basically regular detox means detoxing every day. This is why water is so important, and adding lemon essential oil is so important because we should be flushing every single day. And I have always said water is to cleanse, foods is to nourish, but foods can also be a very important addition to a detox program. Getting good water-rich vegetables and fruits, getting good fiber, getting clean proteins, clean fats. Most of what we're eating are polluted foods, so if we can make sure and eat clean and then drink a lot of water, it really does make a difference. So That's the kind of the daily.
When we're talking about that, I mean, and I've heard a couple of different variations on this theme, but how many ounces of water should we be drinking every day?
So that's where people, I have people all the time say, I drink a lot of water. And I say, how much water? And they're going, oh, at least 3 glasses. And I'm going, oh, no.
Almost halfway there.
Yeah. So, it's always been said 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. But the real truth is, they say the minimum is half your body's weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, then 75 ounces of water should be your minimum. But in the summer, you need more. If you're exercising, if you're sick, if you're pregnant, if you whatever, most of the time you need more. So, and
with people like the guy you were just mentioning that thought 3 glasses of water a day was sufficient. And if someone then goes from that routine to 8 or 9 glasses of water a day, like you're suggesting, are they going to? I mean, aside from perhaps a little more frequent bathroom visits, are they going to notice any other changes just from that one change in their daily habit?
I've found so many people report that they have more energy. And I think it's because your body's able to work better. It really wants to cleanse. Naturally, your body is in this need to nourish and cleanse mode. And so if you give your body the tools that it needs to do its natural processes, you will have more energy. And people feel like they have better focus, better sleep, all of those things simply because they're drinking more water. And most people are drinking a lot during the day, but they're not drinking water. They're drinking all of these other foods that are, adding fuel to the fire. So.
Right, makes sense. So now you mentioned lemon essential oil.
Okay.
And so as opposed to, we talked a little bit before going on the air today, as opposed to just putting a little lemon juice in your water, that's more of a flavoring, but you're talking about a lemon essential oil. Why?
So these are vastly different. People say, oh, I drink lemon juice, or I add lemon juice to the water. So the lemon juice comes from the inside of the fruit. However, the lemon essential oil comes from the rind. Now, a lot of people say, yeah, but we don't eat the rind. Yeah, we do. We can do lemon zest,
sure.
Orange zest. We use that in our cooking. The rind of a citrus fruit is definitely edible. So getting the essential oil from a pure, sprayed or no spray is very, very effective. And you want to make sure that it's a pure essential oil in that way. But very effective in pulling the petrochemicals from your body and from your cells. And it's alkalizing, it's gut stimulating, good for your metabolism, all of those things. So lemon essential oil definitely is good.
You talked a little bit about how we've got the different areas, whether it's the liver, the kidneys, our skin, etc. Is there? Is it possible to focus on just one of those areas?
Well, and this is where the periodic cleansing really, we need to do the daily, but periodic. Many times we need to really focus in on one area, and most of the time it's whole body, but for instance, if somebody's having kidney stones, there's a really good kidney stone cleanse and detox. Many times it's gallbladder issues. I have a really good gallbladder liver flush. That's so amazing. It's only 24 hours, and yeah, sometimes you're a little bit uncomfortable and you stick by the toilet for that one. But most of the time, you just want to do a good periodic cleanse 3 or 4 times a year to just really help with, a whole body cleansing, because it's really all about whole body.
Interesting. So trying to get into the real process now, water with lemon essential oil. You said it's specifically a very powerful detox, and that's just what helping to lift some of the contaminants out of your system. And
especially down your colon, but also right. It really goes cellular. And this is where about 2 drops, 1 drop per cup of water is really okay. But if you're drinking, 8 to 10 or 12, you can take 12 to 15 drops of lemon essential oil in your water throughout the day. Very, very good for a good detox. And not necessarily do you have to do that every day for the rest of your life, but at least I would say 5 to 10 drops is really good.
And I think most people know that as far as just biting into a lemon rind could be a little less than sweet. So this still just gives a nice lemony flavor to the water?
It does. It tastes good. It's not sweet, but it tastes good. It's got a nice flavor. And I will say that make sure that your lemon essential oil says that it's meant for internal use.
Right.
And it should have a supplement fact label. The ones that I use only have supplement fact labels, and that's super, super important. You don't want to use an essential oil that doesn't have that. So.
Now, I know in looking over some of the talking point notes before the show today, you had also mentioned a type of powder and other herbs that are often formulated into capsules. So
right.
This is kind of to accomplish the same thing?
Right. So I know that water is super important, but I feel like, adding our herbs, we've got a lot of great herbs out there. The psyllium, I think most people have heard of psyllium, very, very good for a good gut detox. Burdock root, rhubarb, there's a lot of other herbs that can be formulated and are really good for cleaning the colon. And I think that it's good to have a good combination. I have one that I would recommend, and it's...
So now, there's I believe it's referred to as a flora in the intestines that is important to keep at healthy levels. Otherwise, you end up running into other problems, and this works towards that, right?
And we'll talk about that in point number 4, but we'll talk about the flora. But the psyllium is basically really just a cleansing all the debris in your gut.
Okay, interesting.
So,
and other herbs and stuff also work for this kind of thing?
There are different ones. I have found that over the years, I've suggested different things, and sometimes it's a hit and miss thing for people. So now I've kind of narrowed it down. I feel like I have some really good things that work. And so we will definitely, if people want to contact me, I can tell them how to get in touch with me, because sometimes it is a hit and miss thing, and you want to make sure if you really are, you really want to do a good, effective detox, you want to do it right. So.
Well, one of the things that I see, some of these herbs are things that you might already have in your kitchen to begin with. Oregano, thyme, tea tree, and other essential oils. I mean, these are not terribly unfamiliar with a lot of people.
Yeah, I do have an essential oil blend that is super, super effective. That the primary ingredient is oregano, but it also has thyme and other essential oils in it. I love this one specifically because it's a good gut detox. It zeroes in on the candida in your gut. Most people have candida, they don't know it. And basically this is a fungus that's growing in your gut. And that's why you crave sugar and carbs. The more carbs and the sugar that you eat, it just feeds that candida. So if you get the candida out of your gut, which is what the oregano does, you need to kind of be careful because it's very powerful. But if you remove that, basically you also remove those sugar cravings. And this is...
That'd be a good thing.
Yeah, it is a really good thing. A lot of people, that's the number one thing that they'll say without me even saying anything. They say, wow, I have no more sugar cravings, and they're not sure why. And it's like, yeah, you've removed all the candida from your gut, and so this is super powerful to have an essential oil blend that really specifically works to remove the candida.
Very interesting. Now, so with these things, just so I can wrap my head around a little bit, you said most people have this candida, so they constantly crave sugar. And if you include these essential oils, and of course, you mentioned that you got to be careful where you're getting some of these things from, but people can experience a pretty significant turnaround.
Yes, I have one specific essential oil blend that's in a capsule or a soft gel, and it is very, very effective. The only reason I say you got to be careful, it's kind of like an antibiotic. You only take it for 7 to 10 days, and then you follow with a probiotic. And this is kind of doing about the same thing. It's really kind of purging that candida and other elements from your gut that you want removed,
Right.
and then you've got to replenish it.
Interesting.
So.
Now, we'll give you a web address here in just a little bit where you can find out more about the great things that Erleen is working on, and a lot of other information there. I was kind of enthralled looking at your website. It's running a lot of information to digest there. But, one of the things, though, is, okay, so you go through this cleanse, you get a lot of these toxins out of your system. Is that it? I mean, or do we need to then put something else in to kind of reinforce what you've already started, or what's the next step?
That is such an important step, and this is one of the steps that most detox programs don't have. Because as you're removing all the bad, you need to start introducing the good, and you need to replenish it. Now, so what do we need to replenish it with? First of all, a lot of good whole food nutrients. What people are normally getting in a supplement is a lot of synthetics. They don't know that even at a health food store, sometimes there's a lot of multiple vitamins that are just full of synthetics and fillers. And those are cheap, but they're basically just being thrown off in your body. So we need to really make sure that we are getting rid of all of that stuff and implementing really good whole food supplements. And I always say it's got to come in a capsule. But also enzymes are important, probiotics are important. All of these things really help to replenish. So you want to understand that this is a detox and replenish. If your detox program doesn't include replenish with something that's really good, what you're trying to do is really help your body jumpstart and start going in a different direction. It's been going down this path, and if you don't go on another path, you might not be happy with the outcome. And that's where we start entertaining all these other health issues that we don't want.
Well, one of the things, you mentioned the importance of whole foods, and I know one of the things that my wife and I had done here a while back is we really got away from a lot of this processed stuff, and I was able to dump 40 pounds. And I think a lot of it was just that, and that there's, it's nice and convenient. We all like to think about, oh yeah, we just take this out of the freezer, pop it in the microwave, and 2 minutes later we have lunch. But there's an awful lot of other stuff that comes in with some of those types of meal packaging.
Absolutely. And those are things that are creating this pollution. Like it says, it's coming in through our mouth, through our skin, through the air we breathe. We've got to remember, because it's coming in, we've got to get it out. And the more often we work on it, doing it on a daily basis, doing a very good, thorough one on a periodic basis, really the goal is to jumpstart your body and move it in a different direction so it's cleansing better. So some people go off, see this as a diet, and then they go off of it. It's like, well, no, you need to implement these good ideas and steps and protocols and keep doing them so that you continue to cleanse. Don't go back to your old ways, or you're just going to pollute your body again.
Well, now, so when you talk about this, though, and I know, we've talked about a couple of different types of cleanses, but if people are thinking, hey, this sounds like something I want to check into more, and again, we'll have a web address for you to look at here in just a moment, but, is there a big commitment where, like, when you go into these cleanses, if all of a sudden now it's like, okay, the bathroom is mine for the next 2 weeks, is there that kind of bathroom demand, I guess would be the way to say it?
I think that, first of all, there are those specific cleanses, like I said, the gallbladder liver cleanse that I have. Basically, for that 24 hours, anybody can do 24 hours. Sure. It will require a little bit more, being next to the bathroom. But the kind of detox that I help as a health coach, help people with, should not be that way. It should be something that you can do in a month's time. 30-day cleanse, even more so a 90-day cleanse. Just really think of getting your body back in order. We've taken years to get it out of order, so let's at least take 30 days or 60 days or 90 days to get it back in order. But this really should be something that's slow. and it's something that's cleansing your body on a daily basis. You're taking toxins out, putting nutrients in, but over time your body's going to regenerate and it's going to start working more properly. So no, you're not going to have to be sticking by the bathroom, and people fear that. So
right. Well, it's interesting now. I mean, obviously a number of different types of cleanse, but it sounds like, if this seems intriguing to our listeners and they'd like to get something going right away, it sounds like just upping your intake of water every day is a great first step.
Super.
I mean,
super
and you said half your body weight in ounces. So like I weigh 200 pounds, so 100 ounces a day. I mean, I got my work cut out for me just to remember to drink that much. But I would imagine that probably all comes down to just developing habits. And after, a few days, you got it.
Absolutely. It's all about habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can change your habits. You can change bad habits to good habits, especially if you have a need
right.
and a concern. And we don't have to get that way. We can, use prevention. So just get in the habit, a good, healthy habit of drinking more water, eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, eliminating all those processed foods, eating whole and clean, and also doing a good periodic cleanse that's going to support your whole body.
Now, is it something as simple as just the upping your intake of water? Is that something that can also, early on in this half hour, you mentioned people suffering from brain fog or some foggy thinking. So is just upping the water intake and flushing the system out going to make a difference with that?
Absolutely.
Huh.
Absolutely. People are amazed how well they can focus better, they're less irritable, they can just think better, clearer when they do a detox on a regular basis. And it works, like I said, physically, emotionally.
Well, that's the bottom line. If it works, I mean,
mentally.
Yeah.
Your body just will run better if you implement these principles.
Now, if you want to find out more, you can go online to erleentilton.com. That's ERLEENTILTON.com. And you can even contact Erleen by just going to the contact page there on our website. And I assume that if they have questions about what type of supplements that you would recommend, things like that, you can do all that through your website?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, if they just go to that contact tab and put in their name, we can be in touch. I don't pressure people. I like to chat with people. I do like to have a good conversation with people and find out where you are and what your goals are, and help coach you through the process. And I've had some really good results, so I know people can get some great results if you're really interested.
So when did you first decide that, hey, I got to change my intake because something ain't right?
You know what? It started when I was a young mom. I was 21 and I was very messed up physically and emotionally. And I was eating all the wrong foods. I was full of toxins. And at that point, I started with a naturopath for neck and back adjustments. And he just said, you know what? You need to do a detox. And that introduced me to detox. We did detoxes, and we did some scary ones. But you know what? Let me tell you, over the years, I've always been grateful that I did that, because it changed my life. It changed the direction of my health. And I know it can happen for people. We can put Band-Aids and more Band-Aids and more Band-Aids with synthetics all we want, but it's not going to give you the health you want. We've got to get to the root cause. And this is what this is. The root cause is our filtration system is clogged when we start experiencing health issues.
And again, we've been talking this morning with Erleen Tilton, and you can find out more by going to her website, erleentilton.com. And if you want to contact her, just go to the contact tab there on the website, and she'll be happy to respond to you. A lot of interesting information. We need to do this again.
Yes, we will.
Again, thanks to Erleen Tilton for coming in this morning, and thank you for tuning in and listening. We're going to switch gears here and get you back to more of your favorite music.